some talks in play right now for Errol Spence Jr. to fight Terence Crawford. What are your thoughts on that fight? How would you see that fight going?
I think it's a great fight. 50-50 fight. Like I said before in other interviews, both guys are skilled, both guys are hungry, both guys want that win. I think it's going to be a lot of momentum changes in that fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. Both guys really want it. So I think it's kind of going to be both guys are going to try to box and fight a disciplined fight, but I think there's going to be some exchanges in that fight, heavy exchanges.
Yeah, I wanted you to elaborate on that real quick, because I think as I look at it, and I think so as some of the boxing fans look at it, Terence Crawford is a real savage. He's got that, hellacious, attitude, and he really is one of the greatest finishers in the sport. Talk about Errol Spence's savageness, though. You've seen that in the ring. How much of a badass is he when he's in there and the fists are flying?
Yeah, he's mentally strong, and he's one of those type of fighters you got to be in your best shape, because he fights the same. He comes out every round and throws 100 punches straight through. So if you're not in shape for that, then he's gonna break you down and knock you out like he's done to a lot of his opponents. But I'm a top fighter too, so I know what it takes. I'm mentally strong. I'm just like him, so we're both in there banging it out, and But and Terence Crawford, like you said, he has that mean attitude.
Yeah.
Like someone stole something from his mom. Like he carries that attitude, and he's hungry. Like he really loves history. He really wants to be unified again in another weight class. So it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a battle.
From that point on, man, the floodgates will open. I think I tweeted out that it was like high tide coming in at the shore. It came in. Whoa, it came in. And it was taking everything on the beach. It was taking everything. And Ugas had built a sandcastle, and man.
Sandcastle, Teddy was taking cars from the parking lot. That was just, oh my God.
But I always feel sad when I see those kids make the sandcastle and then all of a sudden the wave just wipes it out. And he tried to move the sandcastle back. His heart kept him in it. No, his heart, but the waves kept coming. They kept coming.
It got the kids' sandcastle, the parents' chairs, the cooler, the umbrella, everything was gone.
Yeah, the tanning lotion, everything. And so, he didn't stop. Body and head and body uppercuts mixed in. Chose all the right.
The punch selection was crazy.
Well, there was only two he needed on the inside: body and uppercuts. That's all he needed. Because the body was going to cause him to lean a little. The uppercut was going to do the job. So he was going up and down beautifully.
Have you ever seen Spence look better? I don't remember.
I'm not fighting off of just my natural ability. I'm fighting off of, like IQ now. It's everything's easier. I'm seeing everything before it even happened, and that's just the way we train on the mitts. And a lot of people may look at the training style on the mitts because it ain't like super like flashy, but it's real technical. It's a lot of stuff that we working in that mitt work, that people don't see, but we know what's going on and the things that we working. So
that's a great point. And because I've been in your camp before with Errol and seeing you guys work, that point is so important, because a lot of people just see all the flashy stuff on the mitts and they're looking at the camera and doing all this, whereas you guys are boom, is real tap here, and like you said, it may not look as flashy as the others, but there is a meaning to what you guys are doing, and Derek does that all the time with all of his fighters this scene.
Yep.
Good point here. I think in your training there, because you train alongside Errol Spence, what has that done for you, and how has that enhanced your career?
It's just like training with E. It's like, all right, you got to step it up. You got to step it up. You got Errol Spence in the gym every day. you know, outside of it, for months before he even fight, he in here working, you know. So it's like you trying to get there, so you better stay in the gym. You got to stay at it, because he working. So it just, I feel like I feed off of that. You know, I feed off of EJ, Derek, you know, because Derek in the gym every day too. You know, so just seeing those guys in the gym being where they at, and then just them being in the gym as much as they're in the gym, is just like you got to stay in there too if you're trying to get there. So.
You know, everyone in the world wants to see Errol Spence Jr. and Bud Crawford fight.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you train alongside of him. You tell me why Errol Spence Jr. will win that fight.
He just pressure. You know, his pressure. He consistent in everything he do. Like he consistent with his punch output, with everything. You know, his offense to defense, he balanced. You know, really, like people ain't gonna say, oh, he lacked defense or he lacked offense. You know, like I feel like he got everything. You know, people may be like, oh, Terence is faster or this and that. You know,
He's
but
more athletic. He's a finisher. You know, I hear all that. They go, he's more athletic. He's a finisher. That's not Spence.
the thing is, like, EJ got something for all of that. You know, he got something for all of that. Just the way he trained, his mentality. He'll have something for all of that.
See it. I don't even want no free tickets to this fight. I'm gonna pay my money for this.
So you're not going with the Midwest counterpuncher?
Terrence, I mean, listen, I could never root against Terrence.
Right.
Me and him was roommates, and you know, I known Earl for a while.
You were roommates with Terrence?
Yeah, when he first turned pro, we used to stay together out here in Vegas. So, you know, I gotta, and me seeing how hard he came up. And this is why, going back to it now, the people that, when I was debating about who was pound for pound between him and Canelo, I mean, it ain't a debate now, but the reason why I got Terrence #1 pound for pound is because, #1, I saw how hard he came up. And he didn't have that silver spoon coming up in his career. He was doing the ring almost like a sink or swim type situation coming up. And for me to see how hard he had it coming up and him to beat the odds so many times, like, he's #1 and he probably should be the favorite in the fight in the books, like on the odd. I think he should be a slight favorite, but they both so good at talents that they both got advantages on their sides. Like, you know, Spence got the size advantage. He probably got the
better jab.
All right. Terrence is a better counterpuncher. He can move better. He got more. All right, Terrence got. All right, you said it. Midwest. He got that slick shit.
Right.
You know, but Terrence is a killer, and Earl is a killer. That's what make this fight so good, because they both gonna want to hurt each other. Now, they both do it in a different kind of way. Earl does it more in a way to where he gonna stalk you behind that jab, real disciplined with his defense, nothing fancy. So, you know, nothing fancy, but he knows where to throw and when to throw it. He hits you to the body and the head, and he know when it's open. So he got good timing, real good boxer. See, people think that if you don't dance around that you're not a boxer. That don't mean nothing just because you don't move around, and you could still be a boxer in front of a guy. Like, that's what kind of fighter to me that Errol Spence is. He's more of a stalker. He more of a boxer that'll pressure you. Kind of like, all right, if you look at Roberto Duran, he was a boxer, but he just was an aggressive boxer. You know,
Chocolatito.
Yeah, boxer, but you know, these guys like to, you know, so they both got edges on their side. I think the edge for Terrence is his counter punching. He got more speed, and he got a little. He got more. He could switch up in a few more different styles than Earl. But Earl got the size advantage. He been there his whole career. Huge welterweight. Even in person, he even bigger than, you know, what the stats say or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he got to be taller than what it say on the stats. And I seen the cat, like, I mean, years of course.
He was more like 5'10" than 5'9".
Or maybe even close to 5'11". Like, you know, he's bigger than what it say on paper. But so is Terence, though. Terence is too. But Errol is like a huge welterweight.
Country strong.
Yeah, so he got that. So Errol, to me, his pressure is an advantage in the fight. He got a good jab, and he's consistent with his style. Like, if you watch him fight, he fought that way damn near every fight. So he don't really have to overthink on how he gonna fight, because that's the way he fight. He gonna press you behind that jab. He not gonna give you too many openings. He don't really slip and give you a lot of head movement, but his defense is more the high guard. But he could punch good upstairs and downstairs, and he could do it for 12 rounds. You know, that's another well-conditioned fighter. Like, if you watch him and Ugas, he broke Ugas. Now
he get better as the fight goes on.
Now Terence, another great athlete,
too.
Strong as hell and stronger than people think. And he got that. He kind of got that tank. They kind of both got that, where they can just see it and they can clip you with that one shot and end it, to where you might think a man is in the fight, but in Terrence's mind, he already know, like, okay, I ain't ready yet for it. I'm gonna let him get more sloppy as the rounds go on. He not gonna throw these punches as sharp. So instead of me trying to show you what I'm trying to do in the second or third round, I'm gonna do it in the 8th round, because in the 8th round, your energy didn't die down. So when I hit you with this shot, and by him stopping a dude like Porter, who I grew up with and one of the biggest dogs you gonna ever see in the ring, ain't no stopping no Sean Porter. I mean, this dude then fought light heavyweight, middleweight, straight up dog. Like, so that had to be telling for him to do that with a dude like Porter, who can still come in the ring and even move up and win the title if he want. Man, that fight is like a coin toss. Like, it's the best fight in boxing right now, hands down. Like, I mean, they getting my money on that. Like, you know, they gonna definitely, everybody should order that fight. That you can't even say you don't watch boxing, that you watch boxing if you don't order that fight.
No, your card is revoked.